Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And not everyone is happy about yesterday's massive Trump victory. In fact, gaming journos and comic book pros are very, very unhappy. Kotaku editor-at-large Alyssa Mercante is very, very unhappy about it, and she's going to blame gamers.
Well, when isn't she
Trump
blaming
getting
gamers?
elected.
Okay, the bigger question is when doesn't she blame gamers? Seriously, when everything's gamers' fault.
Gamers.
I'm just so sick of it. I'm so tired of it, and the meltdowns and that are just ridiculous. And I have lots of thoughts.
Yeah, let's talk about this because I don't think it's going to work this time like it did last time. I think that you've lost control of the media, you've lost control of X, formerly Twitter, and you've lost control of Middle America. Most of Middle America is done with your shit, and they see through it now. They know that you can call people fascists and Nazis and bigots until you're blue in the face. Doesn't mean they actually are, and they, again, chose Trump. Landslide victory. They chose Trump over the Democrats. Knowing so, like, for all this like anti-Trump, sentiment that goes on in journalism and goes on in comic books and video games and animation, they still picked him over your candidate.
But here's what I want to point out, like what she's saying here. Okay, first of all, they keep operating on this moronic, notion that all women voted for Harris. And that no women ever voted for anybody but Harris. All the young men in this country are going to get worse because it's all the men and the men. A lot of women voted for Trump. They got tired of your shit too. At this point, I'm an expert on online extremism and how it seeps into the real world. Alyssa Mercante has gone out of her way to deliberately put a target on herself.
Yes.
She has gone after people. She has herself been an online extremist multiple times. She goes out of her way to cause drama and shit because she likes the attention. And then she complains about how she gets shit when she starts it. Okay? And this is coming from a woman, so fuck off, Alyssa. Secondly, yes, the increased vitriol you saw online over the last few months was an indicator. And you know who I'm seeing the most increased vitriol from? People like Alyssa.
Yeah.
That's what I get so mad about. You have these people that are so vitrolic and terrible and shit, and they're out there and they're constantly, everybody's a bigot and a racist because they didn't agree with my video game review. Wham. And then they're calling everybody else vitrolic. The irony is off the chart. You lost, and you're losing, Alyssa, because people don't want to hear your shit because they think you're full of shit.
But let me show you something. First, we're gonna pause.
Oh, I'm sorry, real quick. She wants to blame it on perpetually online men. Again, hey Alyssa, pull your head out of your fucking ass. A bunch of women didn't vote for Harris either. Just because she has tits and I have tits doesn't mean I have to vote for her.
Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. Get woohoo if you do.
Woohoo, but not for you, Alyssa. Fuck you.
Check out clownfishminus.com for clownfish merch and our exclusive podcasts and posts over on Clownfish Minus. We do paywall some content, but check it out. There's stuff you will not find on YouTube. I want to show you something real quick. I mean, this illustrates it right here. They think that the majority of the country is beneath them. And we saw this last night when you listened to the CNN talking heads and the MSNBC talking heads, and they would always get these digs. They'd always get these digs in here, like the uneducated people, the high school educated people, but they really think that the majority of the country is beneath them in dumb fuckistan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then they wonder why people are turning against them. But I am tired. I am so tired. They're going on about vitriol and all this stuff. The ones who are being vitriolic, the ones who are being have been complete trash bags, have gone out of their way to drum up drama, to be racist, to be, divisive, to be polarizing, to be complete fucktards, are the ones screaming about it now. But the thing is, you want to blame it all on men, and I'm getting so tired of it because a lot of women didn't vote your way either. And I'm so, you guys want to dish it out, but you can't take it. You are literally, especially Alyssa Mercante, she has been nothing but a driving force in trying to cause as much disruption and bullshit as she possibly can. She's going out of her way because she gets off on it, at least that one, she has to get paid for it, and all this other crap. And then she sits there and has the audacity to tell everybody else it's their fault.
So here's the thing, and it's so weird.
It's your fault, Alyssa.
If we said it, I remember when, one, we were told that Elon Musk, it was impossible for him to buy Twitter, right? Mm-hmm. And I went back and forth with the journalist who was like, Clownfish is wrong. He can't buy Twitter. I'm like, yeah, he's not joking. He's totally
Well, even back to Twitter. They're pissed about, they're like, well, he bought Twitter and it's not fair because now it's he's using it to control the election. Okay, you want to play this game? The last 2 elections, you guys used Twitter to control the narrative for the election, to control the narrative for vaccines, to control the narrative about COVID, to control the narrative about all kinds of issues. You did it. There's been people like, I know Facebook has come out and reported that they were told to hide stuff and that too. And you're just, at the end of the day, let's not even mince words. You're pissed because now you don't control it. Yep. That's what it's all about. At the end of the day, we're not going to act like it's some lofty, idealistic, moral high ground. You're literally having a meltdown because you don't get to control the narrative. That's what it's about. Well, you know what? Fuck off, sit and spin. I don't know what to tell you.
So they're angry about Twitter. Sean McGuire here says the turning point was Elon buying Twitter.
No, it wasn't. Like, again, you guys controlled Twitter. You guys had it locked down. You're salty and pissed because somebody else, and they're letting everybody say what they want in general. And they're not restricting you.
So let me tell you what actually happened. What actually happened was you bought the hype. You bought into it because your side, which I'm not talking Democrats and Republicans, I'm talking about the side for censorship and for controlling free speech. That side decided they were going to hide reality from you, and they hid reality from you for years. And then you were shocked when people outside of the echo chamber thought very, very differently about things. And you, honest to God, these people, honest to God, thought everybody had Trump derangement syndrome. They thought everybody hated Trump as much as they did because that's all they heard.
Well, yeah, when you block everybody constantly, so all you see is what you want to see, then you only ever hear back to you. You don't actually know what's going on.
Get mad at your own party, get mad at your own side, get mad at the people that want to control the flow of information because you never had a chance to experience reality as it actually is.
People like how Alyssa Mercante is behaving right now, that's why you lost. And then your answer is, let's do more of that. And then you're going to tell everybody else they're stupid?
So let's actually look at her tweets here. Alyssa Mercante reposted this PB Gomez. In the wake of Trump's 2020 loss, the richest man on earth bought Twitter and proceeded to transform it into what is effectively mainstream 4chan, all for the purpose of politically radicalizing young white men.
It's always young white men.
That was not why he bought it. He bought it because Twitter had a disproportionate amount of influence over politics and the control of information, and it was locked down by...
It wasn't even that. It was, you weren't allowed to say, it was about free speech. Like, some people were allowed to say what they wanted and thought, and other people weren't, and things were being buried. And that's what it was. But again, they keep trying to blame everything on men and white men. And then on top of this, you have the media out there saying that Hispanics are racist and black men are misogynists.
Yeah, literally, we're seeing this. We're actually seeing on mainstream media, we are seeing in real time how this shit works, and it's not working. People aren't falling for it anymore.
You're not going to be, used to be, I don't want people to think I'm bad, so I'm going to do what you want. Not anymore. They've done that. It doesn't matter. You still come after them. You still blame them. But the reality of the situation is, go get a fucking mirror and hope it doesn't break when you look into it. First of all, Alyssa. But then after that, you look in the mirror because that is why your side lost. People like you, drove everyone away with your constant misandry and bullshit. And you did it to yourselves. Look in the own mirror, and you're the reason why.
So she says, the increased vitriol you saw online over the last few months was an indicator, yes, they once again borrowed a playbook from reactionary, angry, perpetually online men. We're a stupid country. That doesn't explain all the women.
No, but beyond that, what do they do? Okay, reactionary, angry, perpetually online. So is Alyssa.
She is terminally online.
She is online constantly trying to stir up shit, but it's okay when she stirs it up. No, it isn't, Alyssa. This is called reaping what you sow.
At this point, I'm an expert in online extremism and how it seeps into the real world. So if you need anyone to speak to it, hit me up. Yeah, right?
Yeah, you caused the online issues, Alyssa.
Alyssa Mercante says, I fear the young men in this country are going to get much, much worse.
Right, because it's always the men. Because all women voted for Kamala because we all have tits.
So she's retweeting some of the worst posts.
Of course she is, because she goes on there and just tries to stir up shit and screams and screams and screams constantly. And then, if she gets it back even a littlest bit, then she's like, oh my God, the patriarchy. It's like, Really?
Why are this person says, Fireborn says, why are Gen Z males the fucking Hitler youth? Ashley Reese says they've been radicalized online for the past decade. No, actually, they've been told that they're horrible people for the last decade. They've been told that they're awful, that white men were the cause of every bad thing in this world, and that if you were a white male, you should be ashamed of yourself.
But what's funny to me is they keep focusing on this, but I kept hearing story after story after story yesterday in the news and stuff and online. People talking about all the women who were showing up to vote for Trump. And that it was age ranges that you would have assumed automatically were for Kamala, and they weren't. You know, you're not mentioning all that. You just keep trying to blame men. It's like, so let's look at this. Why did it probably go the way it did? Because people got tired of being told that they're extremists and it was all men's fault. And it was, if you don't go 100% agree with us on everything and that you know, we keep pushing farther and farther left, it's because you're a bigot and a bad person. We want diversity and inclusion unless you're Hispanic and vote for Trump, or unless you're black and vote for Trump, then you are racist and misogynistic. And then they wonder why people turned against them.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you turned them against them yourself, and your behavior is what is the catalyst. You can fucking blame all these people all day long. But the reality and the truth of the matter is it's not them, it's you.
It wasn't just Republicans. It was a coalition of disenfranchised Democrats, of independents, of libertarians, of people who are fed up with the fucking system that has been perpetuated for, I would say, the last decade or so.
Well, even if you have good candidates on the left, what have they done? We have good candidates. Bernie Sanders, Tulsi Gabbard, whatever. You know, you said about you liked Robert Kennedy.
Yeah, I loved him. Yeah.
They go out of their way to make sure that they pick their friends.
Yeah.
And they pick candidates that are unelectable.
They pick people they can control.
Right, because they don't want I mean, my daughter was even explaining this and she was getting it right. They don't pick people that, you know, are more in the middle, that actually can reach across the aisle and can actually get stuff done, because they want you to be super, super far their way. Like they can't control you. They want someone they can control as under their thumb. And because of it, and I would say sometimes it's on both sides, but because of that, people aren't given the best candidates. They're given whatever they're given, and that's how you get Harris. We didn't even get a primary to pick.
No, there was no because I know if there were a primary and you know, the playing field was level, that it wouldn't have been her. I mean, Tulsi Gabbard kicked her ass, and then her own party turned on her.
They hit her for 3.5 years because she's a dumbass.
Most people didn't know how to pronounce Harris's name. Kamala. I thought it was Kamala for the longest time. Mm-hmm. Nobody knew how to pronounce her name because you never saw her. They never talked about her.
Yeah.
It's like, I guess we have a vice president. I don't know where the hell she is, but I guess we have.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's like, but you guys are blaming it on gamers. Now Hollywood and all these people are having hissy, and all that you're doing is you're just going to create more problems. Like your behavior, besides looking unhinged, I love it. For certain groups being supposed to be the ones having a temper tantrum, the ones that are supposed to be like the toxic, the reactionary, the ones who I'm seeing acting in those ways are not the ones you keep blaming on it. You guys are going, I'm going to kill myself because I can get my own way. Okay, why?
Yeah, well, let's talk about that, because that is, I mean, God, I hope nobody does anything. I won't be very clear. Like, I mean, there are lots of people talking about, like, I should just
I guarantee if people said that last time, though, they would have encouraged you to do it.
Well, we had people lighting themselves on fire, for God's sake. I mean, this is like, they didn't think that it was possible for him to come back. They didn't think that America, this is the fundamental problem, is they don't know where America actually is on things. We don't want to be a bunch of fucking communists. We don't want to be Marxists.
This is what happens when you have your head up your own ass. You're sniffing your own farts and your friends' farts. You're not paying attention to anybody else. And you're so narcissistic, self-absorbed, and entitled. Then this is what happens when you find out that not everybody in the whole country thinks the same way you do. Oh my God, shocker!
Yeah, those of us in Dumbfuckistan, or whatever. I guess Pennsylvania's
part of a lot of Dumbfuckistan is a lot bigger than they anticipated, because a lot of the places that were blue at the top went red too.
The blue wall, it crumbled. Because I mean, again, this points to how catastrophic the failure is. People were willing to vote for Trump again over, I think, pretty much at this point, any Democrat candidate that they would have put in there that was going to toe the line. And you had Harris talking censorship, and a lot of what they're pushing was socialist bullshit, and people are tired of it.
About the censorship, Mercante, she's going on about it's going to hurt toxic men and all this other stuff, and you're having a hissy. I'm mad about Twitter. Okay, so the censorship came. You guys own Twitter again, and then we censored everybody on the other side, which is basically what the hell was going on for years. I mean, let's be honest here. Yeah. especially when it came to like, misinformation regarding like vaccines and shit. And you do all that. Okay. And then, it's okay then though, right? It's okay then if you guys are controlling information. It's okay that, it's oppressive and everything you're claiming it is on the other side, you'd be doing it. But it's okay when you do it. See, that's the problem. And that's what people are turning against. They don't think either side should do it. That's the issue. Like they want Twitter to stay, that it's not censored. Because they don't think that you should have the power to censor it either.
The thing is that you can talk about Twitter and the shit posters and the whatever, the edgelords and all this. Twitter now is more accurately reflecting where America is. In fact, Twitter/X, I guess it's more X now, is the only place that got it right. It's the only place that got right. Where people actually are. And Trump won by a landslide. And you guys were too busy listening to each other, listening to the MSNBCs and listening to the celebrities who you don't know what the fuck is going on in the real world, like Mark Hamill. Hey, Mark, I loved you as Luke Skywalker, but dude, you have no clue. So it's going to be really hard. I'm going to tell you what's I think is going to happen now. There's going to be a domino effect here. And they're going to rage against fans. They're going to rage against gamers and whatever. And Donald Trump, blah, blah, blah.
Because somehow gamers and fans are completely why the whole country, decided to go Trump.
Right.
Which doesn't even make sense.
It doesn't make sense.
Somehow you're the vocal minority, yet you control the entire election at the same time.
It is not going to be beneficial, profitable, sustainable even to hate on right-wingers or anybody who voted for Trump. Because before it was like, oh, they're just a bunch of alt-right Nazis and bigots and whatever. And Hillary won the popular vote and blah, blah. Yeah, you can't use that excuse anymore. So now I believe what is going to happen is Hollywood is going to, or at least the executives, the bean counters in Hollywood, they're going to put their foot down. They're going to be like, hey, yeah, we literally cannot afford for you guys to go out there and attack the majority. And make no mistake, the Trump supporters right now are the majority of the country. You cannot be out there attacking the majority of your customer base. And I think what is going to happen is Hollywood's going to get a massive wake-up call. And I think these news sites, the Kotakus and the whatever, they were already on a knife's edge. They were already on the verge of getting shut down. And now their owners are going to be like, we cannot afford another freaking lawsuit like Deadspin. And if we keep people like Alyssa Mercante in there and she's like pissing off what few people we have left in gamers, it's over. But
the whole thing that pisses me off about like Alyssa Mercante and these other people, like, Mark Wade, you bring up this one too. You're going to talk about that.
We're going to bring up Mark Wade too.
The way they're behaving, besides looking ridiculously childish, looking absolutely up their own ass, is that what they're doing is, I guess it's a double standard. Like, they've been doing the same thing forever. And then they're accusing everybody else of what they've been doing for years. It's like, shoes on the other foot, I guess. I don't know what to tell you. Maybe if you hadn't have been an asshole for all that time, you can't be mad at everybody else if you think they're doing to you what you've been doing to them this whole time.
Yeah. You're in the minority. You're the bad guys. In this case, you're the bad guys.
And then Mark Wade, he was a whole lawsuit where he was trying, tortious interference.
Yes, tortious interference because he didn't think somebody who supported Trump should be allowed to publish comic books in his comic book industry.
And that
sounds
right there,
like a Nazi.
That right there. These people, like the way they talk, they themselves are the ones that are acting like fascists, acting like Nazis, acting like, the totalitarianism people that they keep claiming everybody else is. They're the ones that are acting like it, and somehow they think that it's okay because they're the ones doing it. It's like, I cannot understand. I cannot wrap my head around, how completely out of touch and how completely up your own butt this is. Like, I don't even know how you can even function this way.
It's just like, there's so much rampant mental illness in online geek spaces, in the comic book industry, in animation.
And then there's not the people you keep blaming it on.
No, there are people, and I'm serious here. Like, I don't want to see anybody hurt themselves. I don't want to see anybody do anything stupid. But there is so much of their identity is wrapped up in who's sitting in the Oval Office. And it's like, are you even spending any time working on comic books or video games, or because you're spending an awful lot of time obsessing about politics, and these people are just there.
And if you keep doing it, you're just going to push people further away.
Yeah, and they thought that the world was different than it actually is because it's them and their friends, and they've gate kept it so much that they're not letting, like they flat out said, there are some comic book creators who are like, if you vote for Trump, I don't want to have anything to do with you. I'm going to
Oh, wait, I got to read this comment, though.
This is Mark Wade on Blue Sky now.
Even if by some miracle this turns around, which how it could, I don't know. I don't believe in the basic goodness of my fellow Americans anymore. I don't believe you guys are good. You're all a bunch of fucking assholes because I said so because you didn't let me have my way. Translation.
Yep.
And without this, I could not write superheroes. Nothing of value was lost. There is no point when you see a decline in the quality of my work soon. Soon? There's been a decline in the quality of work for a while, Mark.
20 years, Mark.
You know, Mark, it hasn't been good for a while. So, you know, you'll be able to trace it back to this night. Or step out of the way and let somebody else do it, Mark. You don't believe it anymore? Everybody out there, you just told the customers they're all assholes.
Yeah, pretty much.
You didn't vote his way, you're all assholes. And I'm going to give you subpar work now because I'm not feeling it. Well, then, you know, get out of the way, Mark.
So what are you going to do? This is the thing. There's so many of these comic book creators, and these are the people that tried to keep Comicsgate out of the industry simply because most of them is because they voted for Trump.
Most of these people caused Comicsgate. It was a reaction to people like Mark Wade.
Mark Wade, I still to this day consider him the father of Comicsgate because if he had not gone after Zach the way that he did, it would not have blown up into a big deal. It was his own behavior. Like, you are the supervillain, Mark. You're the villain. You're the bad guy. You don't see it. You're on the wrong side of history. You bullied and tried to gatekeep anybody out of your comic book industry who didn't pass your purity test, and it bit you in the ass hard. And it's like, look, we never had problems with Mark personally. We talked to him years ago, but he's lost the plot. So many of these people have lost the plot.
I just can't wrap my head around the amount of like. They said they're going about how they're the heroes, but the way they behave, people who behave the way they're behaving are not usually what you would call heroes.
You're saying you can't even believe in the basic goodness of Americans anymore. No, you shouldn't be writing superheroes. You sure as hell shouldn't be anywhere near Superman, and that's his favorite character. Like, if you can't even believe, like, the American people are tired. I mean, look, Americans, it's in our DNA. We do not like being told what to do. We do not like being told what to think, and we push back against it.
People like Mark caused the exact problem, and then he's blaming everybody else. They're reacting to people that were Mark, Alyssa. Make it real simple for you. It's not hard. They're reacting to you. People are moving that way who normally wouldn't go that way because they're just trying to get back to center because they're reacting to you. You yourselves did this. It's not that hard. You're blaming everybody else for it. But the reality of the situation is your behavior over the last several years and everyone like you has caused a huge divide and pushed people the other way.
So what is going to happen? So fans are going to come to these comic book conventions, and are you going to ask them if they vote for Trump? Because remember, the majority of people in this country voted for Trump. You're going to ask them, you're going to put them through a purity test to be like, well, first, before I sign your comic book, are you a good guy or a bad guy according to my standards? That's fucking
according
stupid.
to my standards. That's the state. You have to have that according to my standards.
You are okay. So what it's going to look like? I don't remember the 80s, early 80s super well because I was very young, right? But I do remember there was a shift from the 70s into the 80s, and by the time we had shows like Family Ties, it was very clear that it was no longer cool to be a hippie, and hippies were mocked. These guys, these wokesters, these hipsters, these terminally online activists, they're going to be the crusty ass hippies in the next 2 years. People are going to look at them and laugh and be like, God, you are a relic from 2015. And they'll move on to somebody else that's going to take their money.
Moving on. The problem is these people don't move on.
They're not going to move on.
They don't move on. Because I think America wants to move on. I think we're like, okay, we already did that. Didn't work. Everybody's, polarized. We're tired of being polarized. We want to just get back to getting, put, America first. Let's get America back on track. Let's, everybody's, needs help with finances and things. Let's get everything straightened out. And those issues to them are more important than you being pissed because they didn't vote the way because you have it in your head that so-and-so is going to, somehow not be allowed to marry who they want, even though there's no indication of that whatsoever at all.
Yeah.
It didn't happen before because the media and Hollywood said so. It's a bunch of them they've been controlling everyone through fear and bullshit for so long. And they're so used to having the power, they cannot stand that people are no longer listening because they see you're not wearing any clothes.
Oh, nobody wants to see that.
You know what I'm saying? It's like the emperor's not wearing clothes.
Put a shirt on, please. We're gonna see a lot of this. I mean, this is gonna go on forever, and once the inauguration hits, it's gonna be it's gonna be insane. But the good side is the stock market blew up today. Like things are great because the world is like, oh, thank God, we're gonna go back to normal and step over this age of woke. It's over. It's done with. And if you still want to cater to the minority of people that feel like 2015 never ended, you're more than welcome to do that, but you're not going to make any money. You're not going to make any money.
Well, you sure as hell aren't going to help anything by going doubling, tripling down and calling everybody else terrible people, dumb fuckistan, and saying it's all the men are lost because of Alyssa Mercante and stuff. Says the woman who deliberately goes out there and tries to start fights and keep it going. Yeah,
don't do this. Don't be that guy. And if you don't like it, move. I mean, I'm not being a dick. If you don't like it, move. See if it's better someplace else. All right, we're wrapping this one up.
Yep, but we're not doing any more of these unless we have a reason.
All right. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.
Join the reef. Go to clownfish-.com. That's clownfish-.com. You will get exclusive access to podcasts and videos and comic strips and more, as well as merch discounts. Check it out. If you were a member, you could get this t-shirt, this dismal t-shirt on our website. You'd get a 10% discount on that. You can also join in the community on clownfish-.com. Thank you so much for the support.